Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Bowles. I'm the Principal IT Management Consultant at Pink Elephant, and I'm very pleased to be spending some time with you today to talk about ITIL 4. This session is really going to be focusing on the certification program that's been built into ITIL 4. And the session, just in terms of some logistics, this session is being recorded. You will be provided with a link to the recording so that you can share that with your colleagues and friends who perhaps weren't able to join us live. So this session will be recorded, and you'll receive an email from us either later today or tomorrow with the link to that. Typically, we do provide the presentation as well, so you should get a copy of the presentation also. So the goal of this webinar is to focus really on what the certification program looks like for ITIL 4. I will do a brief introduction into version 3 just to show you where we were and where we're going. And then we're going to go into each of the courses. I'll highlight some key elements of each of the certifications in ITIL 4. And we'll wrap things up. To get things started, though, I'd like to share a quote with you from George Westerman. George Westerman is an MIT principal research scientist at MIT. And he says that digital transformation marks a radical rethinking of how an organization uses technology, people, and processes to fundamentally change business performance. And ITIL 4 is very much about digital transformation. IT and the business must co-create value. And as we go through each of the different courses, that really is a highlight of ITIL 4, is the co-creation of value between business and IT. IT must be engaged with the business to solve problems and ultimately deliver value for customers. So that's the main theme behind ITIL 4. And it's translated into each of the courses to a varying degree. It's certainly embedded within the structure of the material and the books, the publications that go along with each of these courses. So keep that in mind, that the co-creation of value, business engaged with IT to really ensure that value is being delivered. So let's get started with our agenda. What I want to cover is just very briefly highlight where we were with ITIL 3 and what the certification model looked like for ITIL version 3. Then we'll go into an overview of the ITIL version 4, ITIL 4 certification model, so that we've got that comparison. And then let's jump into each of the certifications that are available in ITIL 4. And I'll talk a little bit about transitioning from ITIL v3 to ITIL 4 as well, with the Managing Transition course that is still available for you to look at. So ITIL version 3, the qualification model essentially started with the foundation level. Initially, it had the lifecycle modules and then capability modules. The lifecycle modules essentially provided certification against each of the publications in ITIL version 3, and were geared more towards management and the ability to understand holistically that part of the service lifecycle. The capability modules were designed predominantly to demonstrate how these processes worked together to support key activities within IT. As a late addition to ITIL version 3, the ITIL practitioner came in, and it was focused on how do you adopt and adapt what you're currently doing to improve those processes into the environment, into your organizational environment. When you attained up to 17 credits, you received an option to go into the Managing Across the Life Cycle, which provides you the opportunity to understand how all of the different phases of the life cycle integrate and tie together. And that completion of that certification gave you the first level of designation in ITIL version 3, which was the ITIL expert. In terms of the ITIL version 3 certification, what we had was one level of designation that required a total of 22 credits to achieve the ITIL expert designation. So there's quite a significant investment in getting that ITIL expert designation. And then they did provide a capstone, ITIL master, which required, it was somewhat unique to each individual, but it was through a series of papers and demonstrating your experience within the adoption of service management. So it was a very rare occurrence in ITIL version 3 to see that level. So if we move into ITIL 4, we have a slightly different model in what's been created for ITIL 4. It starts again with the ITIL Foundation, which is a key element because there are significant changes to the way ITIL is viewed between ITIL version 3 and ITIL version 4. The introduction of new concepts and new ways of thinking along the lines of digital transformation and digital IT are important for people to wrap their heads around and get a good sense of where things are coming from. So everything starts at the ITIL Foundation level, and then you have the opportunity to move into two different paths. One leading to the ITIL Strategic Leader designation on the right-hand side, or one leading to the ITIL Managing Professional designation on the left-hand side. So to become the ITIL Strategic Leader, you need to complete two certifications, the Direct Plan and Improve, and the Digital and IT Strategy certification. On the Managing Professional side, there's Create, Deliver, Support, there's Drive Stakeholder Value, High Velocity IT, Direct Plan and Improve. So on the left-hand side for ITIL Managing Professional, there's 4 core certifications plus your ITIL Foundation that delivers the designation. On the right-hand side, we have 2 certifications plus ITIL Foundation to attain the ITIL Strategic Leader. And again, they're introducing this idea of the ITIL Master for anybody that obtains both of the designations. Off to the far left, we have the Managing Professional Transition course, which is currently available, but I'd like to save that until we start to wrap things up to discuss that in a little bit more detail. That's essentially the course that you're able to take if you're in a position to transition from ITIL version 3 to ITIL version 4, based on the number of credits that you've attained through the version 3 model. Excellent. Let's move on. So the primary difference between the Managing Professional and the Strategic Leader designation is the focus on senior management principles and understanding driving organizational change on the leadership side, as opposed to on the Managing Professional side, the application of the principles within ITIL 4. So if I were to sort of separate the two, the right-hand side designation is more focused on leading digital transformation, as opposed to the left-hand side, which is focused on how do we actually do digital transformation. It's the actual doing part of it. So thanks for that question. So key learning objectives in the ITIL 4 Foundations, because it's a foundational course, it is really very much about demonstrating foundational knowledge about key principles within the ITIL 4 publications. So it's the introduction of the service value system, a review of the guiding principles of ITIL 4. It's introducing the idea behind the service value chain, 4 dimensions of service management, and there's an overview of the 34 practices with a primary focus on 18 and a deep dive on 7. So for any of you that are familiar with ITIL version 3, the foundation course applied a similar approach where it showed you all of the processes that were a part of ITIL version 3, but the foundational course did a deep dive of a subset of those processes. We do the same thing in ITIL 4 Foundations, where we can't go into detail around each of these practices, but we do want to provide some context and some details around some of this information. It also is introducing some complementary frameworks in the area of Lean IT, DevOps, and Agile, and tries to reiterate the importance of organizational change as a part of the adoption of service management. In terms of the practices covered in ITIL 4 Foundation, so all of these practices are touched on in terms of the purpose and goal. The practices that are underlined, there is a little bit more detail that's addressed in terms of key concepts related to each of these underlined practices. So we go into a little bit more detail around change enablement, more detail on problem management, service level management, additional detail on incident and service request. So each of these underlined practices address a certain amount of additional detail to provide context and depth of material to support your understanding of these practices. So this course is designed for anyone working in IT. We could have business stakeholders as well to get a better appreciation of what service management is and how they can support IT in leveraging some of these principles and working together, again, with that idea to co-create value for the services that are being provided. It's also important for people that are really trying to get a better understanding of how to provide business value in a digital age. Anyone who has their ITIL version 3 foundation certification and is interested or invested in the ideas around service management, this would be a good introductory course to get into. And because it's a prerequisite for any of the additional certifications, if you're interested in the higher level certifications to work towards one of those designations, then it's a must-have certificate for you. So if we look at Create, Deliver, Support, this course is addressing more of the core service management activities, expanding on the current scope of ITIL to address the creation of services. It's focusing on the integration of different value streams and the key activities that are used to create, deliver, and support IT-enabled products or services while addressing the supporting practices that are key or critical, the methods that might be applied, and different tools that should be utilized to support the engagement with the customer, the planning that goes into the various service activities, whether we design and transition, the plan and build, and then the delivery and support. It's aimed at IT service management practitioners that are involved in managing the operation of IT-enabled services, and those responsible for end-to-end ownership of those products and services. With respect to key practices that are examinable within Create, Deliver, Support, we have this set of practices that are covered in some detail within the delivery of the course. Key roles that might be interested in engaging in this course, those involved in service desk management, service desk operations, IT infrastructure and support roles, practice roles involved in problem, change, or release management. If your organization is involved in DevOps, then this would be a good course to introduce them to in terms of service management. Support analysts, continual improvement, program coordinators are some key roles, some key areas that would gain some benefit of participating in the Create, Deliver, and Support certification. The next course on the Managing Professional side is Drive Stakeholder Value. And this is focusing on all types of engagement and interaction between the service provider, so between IT and our customers, engagement with our users, suppliers, third-party partners that we work with to help deliver support. It focuses on transitioning demand into value through the delivery of the services that we provide. It's addressing key topics such as service level agreement design, multi-supplier management, critical communication, the relationship management between these various stakeholders. How do we develop and manage the relationships in such a way that everybody is feeling heard and value is being attained through the delivery of the services that we're providing. It's going to help to provide the students with tools to increase stakeholder satisfaction, which is critical in achieving business success, especially in our current competitive landscape. This course is going to be aimed at practitioners responsible for managing and integrating key stakeholders, those that focus on the overall customer experience, and those that are responsible for developing, nurturing relationships with our partners and suppliers. The foundation course, of course, is a prerequisite for Drive Stakeholder Value. And Drive Stakeholder Value covers these key ITIL 4 practices to some degree of detail in terms of providing key information, relationships, tools, as well as the overall goal and purpose of these practices. So business analysis, portfolio management, relationship management, service catalog, service desk, service level, service request management, and supplier management are all key practices to better understand how we need to collaborate and work more effectively with business customers, with our partners, to deliver value. Some key roles that might be interested in taking this course: a business relationship manager, software engineer, systems engineer, those responsible for the delivery of services or products to your customers, infrastructure and support roles, service level managers, release and deployment managers are some of the roles that might get some benefit of this particular course. Next, we go into high velocity IT. High velocity IT is exploring the way digital organizations and digital operating models function in high velocity environments. So how can we do things quicker, more efficiently, while maintaining clear alignment between our business and IT service provider, and ensure that value co-creation is taking place at a pace that is acceptable to our business. It's going to help organizations to operate in a similar way to successful digital native organizations. Organizations that are built on digital technology and the digital experience. It's going to help us to better understand how those organizations are structured and what we might need to do from a transformation standpoint to start catching up. It includes working with practices such as Agile and Lean, and technical practices and technologies, how we can leverage cloud technology, automation, automatic testing, focusing on rapid delivery of products and services to really ensure that we're delivering maximum value, maximum benefit to our customers. The ITIL 4 specialist is the high velocity IT is geared towards IT managers and practitioners that are involved in the management and delivery of digital services, or might be involved in digital transformation projects. So if your organization is going through a digital transformation, this would be an ideal course for individuals that are actively participating in that program, in those projects within your environment. This course covers a large group of practices. So there's quite a significant number of practices that are covered that are part of the exam. Again, the course does provide detail around each of these practices, the goal, the objective, some of the tools, roles, and responsibilities that would be participating in these practices, the different value streams and processes that would be involved in these practices as well. So in terms of key participants, again, project managers, people that are involved of a portfolio of services or products within your organization, supplier relationships managers, account managers, or business relationship managers are some key roles that would gain benefit out of taking the high velocity IT program. So the last course on the managing professional side is the Direct, Plan, and Improve, and it's also the first course on the strategic leader side. So this course, you only take it once, but it supports the designations of both the strategic leader and the managing professional. So it crosses both, and it's really trying to ensure that you walk away with practical skills necessary to create a learning and improving organization. So we want to ensure that people that come out of this course have a clear view, a clear perspective on how we want to create a culture of continuous improvement and embed that across the organization, across all of our environments, to ensure that we're focused on a strong continual improvement mindset on a day-to-day basis, but also from a strategic and a tactical perspective. It covers influence and the impact of adopting agile and lean ways of working, how can we leverage those frameworks to be more advantageous within our environment. It's going to help practitioners with a practical strategic method for planning and delivering continual improvement. It's aimed at managers of all levels. Again, there would be benefit for anybody in a management position to take this course, as well as process or practice leads, service owners, because of the nature of the continual improvement focus. It's a universal module, as I say. It's something that is required for both the managing professional designation and the strategic leader. So there is some level of importance in both designations that you have this solid, firm understanding of continual improvement. When we move into the, sorry, I see there's a duplicate slide here. That's why I'm messed up. That's what I was expecting. Sorry about that. So the practices that are addressed here within the direct plan and improve, we have continual improvement, we have measurement and reporting, portfolio management, organizational change management, and risk management. So those are key practices, critical practices that are addressed in the direct plan and improve certification. So question about taking all of the managing professional courses in order to take the strategist class. No, you don't. The only prerequisite for this course is the ITIL 4 foundations. Beyond, and then when you take the ITIL 4 foundations, you can either go into the strategic leader path, or you can go into the managing professional path, or you can do both. There's no limit in terms of where you go once you have your foundation. And now we get into the final certification, the final course. This is the one that is just releasing now. So this is the most recent publication that was launched. And we just completed the first public delivery of our digital and IT strategy course. And this course is predominantly focused on ensuring the alignment between our business strategy with IT. So how do we ensure that we're in lockstep with the business to enable the critical business services that are necessary to deliver the business value that we're expected to provide? It's also addressing how disruption from new technologies are impacting organizations across all industries and how business leaders are responding to those changes. It adds a different perspective to the traditional ITIL courses and elevates the discussion around ITIL concepts to a strategic level among business leaders, existing or aspiring leaders, so those that are on their journey. There are some prerequisites and a slightly different format to the certification, in that there is a minimum requirement coming into this course that you have at least 3 years of IT managerial experience. And in addition to an exam, which is following similar approaches in terms of a multiple choice exam, candidates also must pass several case study assignments prior to being allowed to take the exam. So part of the study of the course is to complete these case study assignments and submit them to your facilitator. Those are then reviewed, and if you are successful in addressing the case study element, then you're given the opportunity to move forward and take the exam and get your certification. All of the other courses that we've discussed so far include a single certification exam to complete that certificate. So the Digital and IT Strategy course does have a stronger element. There is some verification in terms of your qualifications to participate in this course, and you need to be able to demonstrate a good understanding of application of the theory through the use of these case studies in order to be given the opportunity to take the exam. The key focus from a practices perspective, covering strategy management, service financial management, portfolio measurement reporting, workforce talent management, architecture management, and risk management. So the focus here is very much around driving strategy and ensure that you're delivering good value as an enterprise to support that co-creation idea of value with the business. So when I said I would come back to the ITIL for Managing Professional Transition, and this is essentially the Managing Professional Transition course covers each of the encapsulated ITIL 4 courses. So in this one 5-day certification, you get the ITIL Foundation, the Direct, Plan, and Improve, High Velocity IT, Drive Stakeholder Value, Create, Deliver, Support. And this is geared directly to people that have started their ITIL journey through ITIL version 3 and are looking at a way to catch up in ITIL 4. So completing the Managing Professional Transition course instantly gives you the ITIL Managing Professional designation. The requirement to complete or to sign up for the Managing Professional Transition course is that you achieve at least 17 credits for ITIL version 3. So if you have 17 credits in the existing ITIL version 3 certification model, then you would be able to register and take the Managing Professional Transition course. So that's a significant boost for anybody that's already started attaining certification in ITIL version 3. It may be best for you to focus on completing a few more of the intermediate courses and taking the Managing Professional Transition course rather than going through each of the individual courses that are available here. So the best advice that I can provide in terms of where you start or where you continue your ITIL certification journey would be to evaluate where you need to, where you are in your version 3 journey. We've been told that the Managing Professional Transition course will be available through this year. And we were told that we would get 6 months notice into when it would be retired. The Managing Professional, we have not received any notification from Axelos or PeopleCert that the Managing Professional Transition course is being retired. So it's 6 months plus until we get that notification. So if you're in version 3, continue in version 3, take your Managing Professional Transition certification to attain a comparable status to the ITIL expert level. If you've not started version 3, chances are you're better off just jumping into ITIL version 4 and going through the path that you're looking for. Self-study for Managing Professional is not an option. So just responding to that question, you do have to take the course through an accredited training organization. So you would need to do it. You can choose a self-paced version of the course rather than sitting through a 5-day course. And with respect to the managing professional, you only need to take direct, plan, and improve one time. So you take that course one time, and that will support your managing professional designation. It will also support your strategic leader designation once you complete the digital and IT strategy program. There is no, sorry, I'm just responding to questions. There is no requirement to take all of the managing professional certifications before participating in the strategic leader. Again, once you take your ITIL Foundation course, you can immediately take the ITIL Leader Digital and IT Strategy course if you meet the prerequisites in terms of demonstrating your management experience. ITIL Foundations is not necessary if you're going into the Managing Professional Transition course, because the Managing Professional Transition course does address all of the foundation concepts that are necessary for that certification. So it is not necessary to complete the ITIL Foundation and ITIL 4 Foundation and then go into Managing Professional Transition. You can immediately register for Managing Professional. For the ITIL Master, yes, you would need both the Managing Professional and Strategic Leader certification. So let me just jump to the next slide. And it's not been published yet in terms of what the ITIL Master looks like from version 4, but I think we can infer similar requirements to what the ITIL Master looked like for ITIL version 3. And part of the requirements for the ITIL version 3 ITIL Master was the need to be able to explain and justify how you have personally selected and applied the knowledge, principles, methods, techniques from ITIL, and supporting management techniques to achieve desired business outcomes in your organization. Each ITIL Master candidate will select a different range of experiences, so it is very unique based on your experience, based on your focus and the programs or projects that you've adopted. So there's no prescribed training course for ITIL Master for version 3, since it's focused more on how you've applied and how you've been able to demonstrate the application of those principles. So again, while nothing has been formally announced or published for ITIL Master for version 4, I would take an educated guess that it's going to follow a similar approach. And yes, if you are an ITIL 3 expert, you would just need to take the Managing Professional Transition course, and you would then receive the ITIL Managing Professional designation. There is no expert, so the Managing Professional designation it would be seen as the equivalent to the ITIL 3 expert designation. So whatever your next step is, whether it's just career development or looking at getting a better perspective in understanding different stakeholders and how to engage with them, leveraging some of the thinking in ITIL 4, looking at the value system, looking at the guiding principles. There's a lot of substance, a lot of benefit for you in jumping into ITIL version 4. If you've already been looking at ITIL version 3, or your organization has already been certifying against ITIL version 3, there is a lot of benefit in taking in the updated thinking and updated ideas that are introduced in ITIL 4, because there's a lot of benefit in the value stream thinking and the integration of practices at a much more detailed level, where you'll see quite significant benefit through some of the adoption. So I certainly hope that you continue or start thinking about your ITIL journey. And I hope that this webinar has given you some insight into where you might start looking for your next certification in ITIL. And if you are looking, we've got a whole range of classes at Pink Elephant coming up that you can jump into. So as I mentioned, we've got all of the certifications now available. We've just completed our initial delivery of the digital and IT strategy, and it's selling out quite quickly. So again, a lot of people, because the certifications have been available now for many months, especially those that have taken the direct plan and improve. They're just this one certification away from getting that strategic leader designation. So I anticipate high demand in that particular course coming up. If you've got any additional questions that you've not asked for me during the webinar, or if I missed through the scrolling a question, I please encourage you to send me a note via email. Again, this session is being recorded, and the presentation will be shared to everybody that's registered, and you'll be able to pass that on to colleagues that you want to share this information to. So it is quite possible that with the pandemic, they make the decision to delay the retirement of the managing professional transition. Again, they were expecting to potentially announce that earlier, and they have indicated, or they've committed to a 6-month time frame, so that everybody that is in that version 3 path has an opportunity to complete and take that course before it's officially retired. So we're at the end of September, so 6 months brings us into end of first quarter 2021, and every month that goes by, we're going further and further into 2021 before it's retired. The best way to keep track is checking out Axelos's website for their news blog to see what new information that they have, and certainly come to Pink Elephant. We've got lots of details that we would be providing, and absolutely, when we hear that they're officially retiring the managing professional, we will absolutely be announcing that to our customers and putting that up on our website as well. Testing is being done remotely, so you have the option when you're taking the certification tests from PeopleCert to do that online. So they have quite a good online testing system. You do need to make sure that your pardon me, your computer environment is free of any notes or other things. You need to make sure that you have a webcam. So there are some tests that you have to check in terms of your system configuration to validate that you can do that. But PeopleCert is quite good in supporting you to ensure that you're able to take the test successfully. The other option would be to arrange for a proctor to manage a paper-based exam. For those of you that maybe are back in the office right now, that might be an option for you to have a manager or HR person monitor while you take a paper-based exam in the boardroom, appropriately social distancing, of course. No, so there are still options, but predominantly right now the exams are being done online through PeopleCert. So again, thank you so much for your attention. I hope this was valuable for you. You will be receiving the link to the presentation, the recorded presentation, in your email that you registered with. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thanks so much for your attention. Have a great rest of your day, and stay safe. Take care.